Welcome, students. Our lesson tonight is one-step equations. These are going to be very simple, should be nothing but a big review, with the exception of a couple of different types of equations you probably haven't seen before. We'll go over those at the end. We're going to get started. Remember, when you're solving equations, the equal sign represents that both sides, the left and the right side of the equal sign, are in balance, and you have to keep them in balance at all times. Any equation works like this. So whatever you do to one side, you have to do the exact same operation to the other side, or it becomes out of balance, and that's called an illegal move if it becomes out of balance. The operations you're wanting to do in order to solve for your variable, which is g in the first one, you're wanting to get rid of whatever's with it. So I see a negative 25 or a minus 25. The opposite operation from subtract 25 is to add 25. So I'm going to write plus 25, but whatever I do to the right, I do to the left. So I've got to do a plus 25 on both sides. Those make 0. That's why we do the opposite, is to cancel it out. G is left. The equal sign drops down. And then we simply work out the problem that's created. And this is 113 plus 25, so we go ahead and add them. And it would be an 8 and then a 3, 138. And that's our answer. Now, equations, also, I'll use this first one to show you, are real easy to check. And if you will check them, it will help you ensure that you've got it correct. So when we go to check it, you take your answer, the 138 that you say G is, and we're going to place this right back where G is. And you just work it out. You're going to say, okay, what's 113 equal to 138 minus 25? And when you do this subtraction problem, 138 minus 25, if you get what's on the other side, which would be 113, if it balances out, then you know you're correct. That's called your check. It shows that both sides are in balance. Now, I'm not going to do that on every equation. I just wanted to show you the first one, how you check. So you can go back to that if you want to review how to check. Let's go ahead and solve the next one. J minus 87 equals negative 3. We have a subtract 87, so I'm going to put a plus 87 on both sides. Then I'm going to cancel my 0. J drops down, equals drops down. Then I've got a negative and a positive. So now I know I'm going to subtract 87 minus 3. So it's going to be a positive 84. And I'm finished. Go to our next example. We've got a 27 plus k. This is a positive 27, so you're going to write a subtract 27 or a negative 27. Work those out. K drops down, equals drops down. 30 minus 27 is 3. Next one, we've got a positive 16, so we'll put a negative 16 under both sides. Cancels, p's left, and then a negative and a negative we're going to add because we have same signs, so it'll stay negative. 12 plus 16, 20, negative 28. Finished. Let's go find another one. Now this one might be a little different looking. It's 8 minus a negative n. First thing, we're going to go ahead and combine those and make that a positive n. It's still a positive 8, so we're going to put a negative 8 on both sides. Work these out. 8's cancel. Positive n drops down. Equal sign drops down. And 1 minus 8 leaves you with a negative 7. And there's your answer. Now, if we go back to check this, I want to show you something. When we go back to check it, if I plug this negative 7 in here for negative n, what I've created is a negative inside the parentheses with the negative in front and the 8. So these two cancel, make a positive 7, which 8 minus 7 leaves you 1. That's how that works. Okay, the next one is negative 13z equals negative 39. This is multiplication this time. The opposite operation is to divide. We want to divide away what's in front of z. So we're going to divide the entire negative 13 so that they will simply simplify away or cancel, leaving just z. So I have to keep the same sign. I have to keep them both negative. Come over here and we put exactly the same thing, and negative 13. 39 divided by 13 is 3, and a negative divided by a negative is a positive. So it's positive 3. Let's try this again. This time we have division. J divided by 12, and it's negative. Now this negative can go with either the J or the 12. Doesn't matter, but we're going to assign it with the 12 because that's what we want, just J left, not negative J. So we're going to leave the negative with the 12. If we see division, we're going to show multiplication. So we're going to multiply by negative 12 on both sides. Always the opposite operation. When you multiply a whole number with a fraction, it's like you're putting that whole number over 1, and you can cross simplify. So the 12s can simplify away, leaving just J. Over here, we just multiply. A times 12. And that's going to be 96. And a negative times a negative is a positive. The next one is division 2. Q divided by 24. So you're going to put the opposite, which is multiply, times 24 on both sides. Those will cross simplify, leaving Q. And now you have a fraction times a whole number. So just work that out. Put the 24 over 1. First thing, always look to see if you can cross simplify. 6 will go into 24 4 times. 6 goes into 6 one time. So now just multiply straight across. 1 times 4 is 4. 1 times 1 is 1. So it's just 4 over 1. The answer is 4. Don't let fractions scare you. They're not too bad. And these are going to be your last two examples. Now we have a fraction multiplied with a variable. The opposite is to divide. But when you divide fractions by rule, I'll put an example up here. 2/3 divided by 5/6. By rule, you have to keep it, change it, rearrange it. In other words, keep the first one, change the sign to multiply, and rearrange the second. So it's 2/3 times 6/5. You flip over your second one. So if we're bringing 3/5 over here to divide, we're actually going to flip it to 5/3. So anytime you see a fraction in front of a variable, just flip it over and multiply on the other side. And we're going to multiply by its reciprocal here too. This is called its reciprocal when you flip it. These cross simplify away, leaving just K. And then you're just going to work this out. 6 times 5 is 30. And then the 6 is over 1. 1 times 3 is 3. And then simplify that. K is 10. And there's all there is to it. So remember, a fraction in front of a variable, flip and multiply. This one is a little bit different problem. It's division, dividing by a -4. So all we're going to do is multiply by a -4 on both sides. -4. So we can cross simplify those away, leaving R. Multiply straight across. We're going to be left with -4 over 7. And that's how I want you to leave your answer. You don't have to change it to a decimal. -4/7 would be it. Now these last few examples you're going to see on your assignment tomorrow. It won't be on your bell work I had you do with this lesson, but it will be on your assignment tomorrow. That's it.